Alright, what is good, Slap City? In this video, we're going to break down the Luke Simonds versus Garrett Blakesslee fight from Power Slap 11. If you're not looking to hear the intro, go ahead and skip. I have chapters in here. So, I never got a chance to upload this before I left for Power Slap 12. I spent time on it, so I figured I should at least put it out. So, yeah, didn't want to let it go to waste. But anyway, so this was a great fight. It was a pretty short fight, but a great fight nonetheless. These are two young, heavy hitters in the light heavyweight division. And this one is bittersweet because I thought that Blakesslee looked the best we've ever seen him. But he posted on his Instagram that until the coin toss is live or they pay more than $5K to fight, that he's essentially done with Power Slap, which sucks because in my opinion, neither of those are going to happen anytime soon. And then for Luke, the guy just continues to stay busy. He has been on an absolute fucking tear. 4-0, 3 knockouts, and 3 top 10 wins in less than a calendar year? The only person that he's fought that wasn't in the top 10 was Caesar. I know that both guys had talked some shit, and Blakesslee had put up a post. I really started to get excited for this fight when Blakesslee had put up a post, basically announcing that he was going to fight him, and it was just amazing. At the end of the day, I want to see people fight who want to fight each other. It's cool, and I've experienced firsthand that Power Slap is a very small circle where a lot of the strikers are good friends. And that's cool. There's something to be said for that. But at the end of the day, when you think of a fight, you want to see two people fight that not even don't necessarily like each other, but want to fight each other and at least has some sort of drama, some egos going back and forth or something that makes it more interesting. And that's what you had here. And yeah, anyway, with that said, let's get into it. So Luke won the toss, so he was slapping first. Luke is a right on 3 guy. Mark Smith telling Blakesslee to keep his shoulders down.
Only one ended
right,
in the first
measure.
round,
right,
so that's right
on
around
3.
20%. Right on 3, here we go.
That's
I'll
your
tell you
measure.
what, the crowd, they got a special.
So if you look at Luke's measure right here, it has some lean on 1 to it. It kind of looks like he's starting the lean on 1, although he's ending up going right on 3. I thought this was really interesting. He's been kind of changing up his slap. If he hadn't said right on 3, I would have thought that he's going lean on 1. So let's play it. Luke right on 3.
Simonds has got huge power as well, so let's see if we
1,
get one here.
2.
Look at Blakesslee. Shivering and
Good
quivering.
slap.
Okay. Pretty good shot there from Luke, and Blakesslee able to eat it. Didn't flinch and just took it. Let's take a closer look at the slap. I got the green lines for the target area. Okay, slips it right in there. He kind of came up and through it, but then missed the button on the way up, and then kind of just glanced off the top of Blakesslee's cheek. It was above the button, so as far as damage goes, it was kind of a miss for Luke. Alright, let's take a closer look from this angle. Okay. So Luke, I wouldn't say trouble, but he has tended to really push the limits of the heel lift and ultimately the pivot rule. The second one wasn't bad, and we're going to go over that too. But on this one, if you loop it right here, it does look like he pivots on this one. So they didn't show the overhead angle, so it's really hard to confirm. But it did look like from this angle, he might have stepped there. Now, obviously, it wouldn't have ended up mattering anyway. But we're breaking down fights, so we got to go over this stuff. And so, okay, one of my favorite things of Blakesslee from the entire fight was the kid went right on 2. It's the on 2 crew, baby. So yeah, Blakesslee right on 2. Now, Luke, I don't know how he's able to do this, but he basically makes his chin disappear into his face. You'll see that Mark Smith literally puts his finger on his chin. It's kind of weird how they do that. For some reason, it just kind of weirds me out. But Blakesslee right on 2.
One.
Massive shot from Blakesslee. Luke stumbles, ponders his life real quick. I thought that was hilarious how it was just so funny how he did the quick, let me think about this real quick. It was fucking epic, to be honest with you. Mark Smith doing the standing count, and it gets pretty fucking deep in the standing count, man. And this was interesting because Luke, he somehow got out of having to walk. That's ideal. You'll hear Isaiah saying, stand still, stand still. This was great coaching and great on Luke for hearing him and listening in the moment. only ends up having to take one step forward and getting cleared. And then instantly you'll see. Pause it here. So this is crowd work 101. Again, I always talk about stage presence. Working the crowd is included in that umbrella, and Luke is good at it. All right, let's take a closer look at the slap. Boom. Clips him right on the chin. Boom, stop it here. Okay. You'll see the white line for his wrist. So Blakesslee, on his previous strikes, we mentioned not really throwing clean strikes, and that's because his wrist was just consistently deep past his opponent's chin, which is a club. And so on this one, you can see that his wrist is not passing Luke's chin. I have some new graphics to introduce to my breakdowns because they did not give a good look of this slap, and on the surface it looked low. So I wanted to use these graphics to kind of show you what's going on there, because this is a slap that people are starting to use. It's a loophole slap, or at least I consider it to be somewhat of a loophole slap, where it's like the striker doesn't even worry about landing a lot of the hand like up on the cheek, even if it means that they're not using as much of their hand, just really pulling back and just clipping the chin. If you pull back and then miss high, then it's just going to slide off the top of their cheek. But if you pull back and then come through like on chin level, but like not even deep enough to hit you in the neck, so the only part of your hand that's touching their neck is like your very bottom two fingers. Although, like, if they had gone past the chin, they probably would have landed low. It's a very effective slap, and it's technically legal. As long as your hand lands flat there, it's technically not a club. Okay, so round 2, Luke right on 3 again. Bisping had that round 10-9 for Blakesslee. I think that 10-9's fine. Like, it could have been a 10-9, but I personally thought that this could have been a 10-8 since Mark Smith initiated the 10 count. I could see both.
Really saps them with their
All
power.
right, right, on 3. You must measure.
You'll hear Isaiah said watch those feet. Like I said in the first round, it did look like he could have stepped. So good coaching by Isaiah again, and he noticed it too.
Yeah, he's still a little dazed and confused. So he's going to go right on 3. That's a good measure. He's pulling it back.
Simonds with the answer!
Blakesslee goes down, stumbles, goes way too quickly. One of the listeners of the channel, his name's Yudu, I think. He had brought up in a comment on my recap video that the ref should have finished the 10 count here. And like, although it is kind of a formality at that point because I don't think he was going to recover, technically, like, this is their livelihood as far as their career of power slap on the line. So I have come full circle on the fact that I do think that they should have finished the 10 count at least. I think that's super fair. I still don't think it was a bad stoppage. I just do agree that they should have probably finished the 10 count here. All right, let's take a closer look at it. I got the green lines for the target area and then the green dot for the button. Boom, stop it there. I mean, yeah, that'll do. That will do. He's landing the bottom of the palm on the button, and it is the bottom of the palm, but that's allowed to land. It just can't go further than Blakesslee's chin, which it isn't here. This is a fucking hammer. And it's tough for Blakesslee. Like, I think that he looked good on defense, but sometimes there's just nothing you can do. Sometimes if your opponent has enough power and lands in the right spot, there's really nothing you can do. All right, so from this angle, we'll pause it here, which is the point of contact. So I mentioned that on the last one, I think that they could have called him for a step. Now here, this is the point of contact, and his heel is barely off the ground. Barely off the ground. And it's facing the same angle that it started on. So this is a clean slap, in my opinion. You're allowed a minor heel lift, and I think that that's what this was. Now, they gave us the overhead view on this one. So let's look at it. So you'll see, in his fight against TJ, his feet his right foot was facing right at an angle, and so when it landed, his foot was facing forward. So there was clearly some pivot there before contact. Now in this one, barely pivots at all. And when it does, the slap is landing. So yeah, I don't see any controversy here on this strike. I think it was a clean strike from Luke. Absolute fucking hammer. And, you know, nothing to hang your head about if you're Blakesslee. I mean, he took the slap and stayed conscious and gave himself a chance to recover. He just made a big mistake trying to rush too quick. You see that a lot. You know, you can know what to do, but in the moment when you're rocked and your adrenaline kicks in, that fight or flight, like, it's a lot easier said than done to be cognizant enough to really take your time. So, yeah, a little disappointed that we might not see Blakesslee again. I really hope he changes his mind, and I wouldn't mind seeing this one again. And if he does change his mind and ends up fighting, I think that you will see these two again, because I think that these two guys are a big part of the future of the light heavyweight division, in my opinion. So, I thought about clipping one of my old videos the other day, or I think it was actually a rankings reaction after Power Slap 11, where I said that, like, it was crazy that they didn't take Wolverine out of the rankings, even though he clearly retired after that fight. And I said that I think that that's probably pretty telling that Power Slap wants Wolverine to keep fighting. I mean, he looked damn good, arguably the best we've ever seen him look in Power Slap, and he's still in the rankings to this day. So I think that I was right there. I think that he's definitely not retiring. Otherwise, he would have been taken out of the rankings. So that shakes things up a bit, because I personally think that, I mean, if Wolverine's not fighting anymore and the belt is vacant, it has to be Luke versus Russell. There's no other fight that makes sense. Anyone that says that Luke doesn't deserve a title shot is completely lying out of their ass. I don't even need to say the record again and how many knockouts. It speaks for itself. That's the only fight. Whatever fight you make for the belt, Luke has to be in there. If Wolverine keeps fighting, it should be Wolverine versus Luke. If Wolverine's not fighting, it should be Luke versus Russell for the belt. Those are the fights that make sense. But yeah, I don't think Wolverine's retiring anymore. Otherwise, they would have taken him out of the rankings. And so I think that you do Wolverine versus Luke straight up. If Wolverine's going to keep fighting, it's Wolverine versus Luke. If he's not going to keep fighting, it's Luke versus Russell for the belt. That's my opinion. And yeah, anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this. Figured it was worth at least releasing in case anybody wanted to see it. I mean, I spent time on it. So the next breakdown that you guys voted for from Power Slap 12 is the Pono Pao versus Dorian Perez fight. So that one's going to be dropping soon in the next few days. And then you voted for the Riley versus Anthony DeFrank fight for after Pao and Dorian. So look out for that one as well next week. And yeah. Till next time, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.